Don't worry about the thing I clicked on accident there. I don't think anything happened. I panicked though for a second. Nothing popped up or happened, but I clicked the thing, and then I was afraid everything was gonna break. Don't worry, it's fine. Happy Saturday. Not morning, unfortunately. I was last night, as I said, I was up late last night, and then I remember towards the end of stream last night, I was like, I'm gonna get a good sleep in, and a good sleep I did get. Oh, I've already got the sniffles. I should take anti-sniffling medicine really quick. I just hit record and all though. If I just awkwardly got up and took some medicine before I get reading. Use Discord from the overlay while playing. No, don't do that. Why is that the first time I've seen that pop up? Yes, I would love the Discord overlay as I'm reading my Higurashi story. Thanks, Discord. Why, really? Did it must have been something I clicked. It must have been because of the thing I clicked, right? Now I'm just gonna get Discord prompting me to display UI on Higurashi while I'm playing. As if I even like Discord like that, which I don't. Okay, sorry about all that. So yeah, welcome to the stream, Happy Saturday. The plan is to read some Higurashi and then probably play something else for the rest of the afternoon. I do have other plans for tonight, so we will not be going super late. But we do have this afternoon here together, so... we were still entrenched in a bad ending, I assume, from the last time. I guarantee we will finish the bad ending here by the time we are done. That is an Austin guarantee. Maybe I'll take medicine in a second. Well, let's try to read at least a bit. So my keyboard's so far away from me. Okay. Otobe gasped as soon as he realized. A thin red line of blood was dripping down from Tawada-san's mouth, making it painfully clear that she was already gone. It can't be. I'm gonna boost audio just slightly more there. Miyuki-chan ran closer and held her ear up to Tawada-san's mouth. Then she frowned slightly while putting a hand on Tawada-san's neck and looking at her wristwatch, only to dishearteningly shake her head. No good. We're too late. No good. What the hell? Don't touch anything! I reached out to pick up the fallen teacup, but Miyuki-chan shouted at me to stop. Then she pulled a pouch out of her knapsack and opened the zipper. As I stood there confused, she took out some sort of paper and soaked it in the tea. Then, right before her eyes, the paper in her hand began changing color. Oh, it's one of those, things. Tests. Somehow, I recognized that the reaction of the paper illustrated what sort of chemicals were involved, but I couldn't imagine what chemicals it might indicate. Why does she have something like that in the first place? I thought so. But it's hard to believe she was carrying something like this around with her. Miyuki-chan said that with a bitter expression, then sat the teacup down. Good grief. There are more corpses in here? Question mark? I'm already gonna sneeze here. Why is it when I just sit down? Okay, give me like 2 seconds. I'm gonna try my best to stop this early. I'll be right back. Okay, back. I don't know what it is. I was literally fine. I was in the shower. I was fine. I think after all these years of doing this, I think I'm either allergic to my desk, the streaming in general, or I'm allergic to chat. It's like just that. It's something. It's one of those three. It's the only possibilities. So we'll see if that kicks in a few minutes. Okay, sorry. Don't think this is your fault.
それがその子の選んだ結末ってことだよ。
This is what that girl chose to do. Oh yeah, so she hung back. Tawada hung back. Seemingly killed herself with poison or whatever. Great. So Nozaki-san glanced at Tawada-san's corpse for a moment, then walked past us and started washing her blood and mud-caked hands in the kitchen. Then, Yuki-chan pulled out a camera with a disheartened expression on her face and started photographing the state of the body. She didn't waste a moment. Her craftsmanship was as precise as an experienced police investigator. Wait, that's not what matters at the moment. Wait! Please, explain what's going on. I want to understand.
残念ですが、ここから救急に連絡できない以上、応急措置も無意味です。
Unfortunately, we have no way of contacting emergency responders, so any attempt at first aid would be pointless.
この湯飲みから毒物を検出しました。
I was able to detect traces of poison in this teacup.
しかもこの反応は即効性の劇薬。もう助からない。
And what's worse, this is a powerful, fast-acting drug. It's already too late to help her.
それじゃ、十和田さんは自殺?
Does that mean Tawada-san committed suicide?
私たちが黒服の男たちを追い払いに行った時、彼女は一人残った。
When we went out to fight those men dressed in black, she alone stayed here.
彼女、失敗したら自分も死ぬつもりだったのかもしれないですね。
Well, yeah, she probably intended to die if her plan fell apart.
この村へ彼と一緒に来るって決めた時から。
Or maybe this was her plan for the moment she chose to come to this village with him. I didn't know what to say. We were all in serious danger until just a moment ago. We were on the brink of death. But it wasn't like that for Tawada-san. She personally chose to die. If I was able to hear Tawada-san's story to the end, maybe I could have changed her mind. Maybe I could have done something. Or maybe everything was already beyond my ability to help, dictated by some immutable fate. Could it be that she felt some responsibility that led her to carry out murder? If she did, I hadn't heard any of it. What led Tawada-san to murder? There must have been some deep-seated motivation for it, but she never gave us an opportunity to hear it before dying herself. I knew the fact that she killed someone and the consequences of it, but was that really everything? Was taking her own life the only way to atone for it? Is human life really such a mechanical concept? Coarse feelings swirled around inside my chest, far beyond simple words like regret or sorrow.
自殺ですか?
Suicide, huh? Otobe muttered that to himself. Tawada-san and Kurosawa looked like they were sleeping, huddled together. It looked like a beautiful double suicide, a fitting end for an impossible love. But is there really beauty in something like that? A beautiful suicide? There's no such thing.
あんたたち、いつまでぼんやりしてんだい?
Confirmed he is not a fan of Romeo and Juliet. How long are you all going to aimlessly laze about?
死体なんかいつまで見てたって、一生起きやしないんだよ。
They're dead. You could stare at them the rest of your lives and they'll never wake up. Sonozaki-san's words brought me back to my senses. That was certainly true. There was nothing we could do for her at this point, other than pray. And there was still another threat that placed our own lives in jeopardy.
とにかく、眠れる時に寝ておきな。
Anyway, get some sleep while you have the chance.
今夜はもうあいつらは来ないだろうからさ。
They won't come back tonight.
多分ね。
Probably.
はい。
Okay. Sonozaki-san sat down on the tatami with her back against the pillar and closed her eyes, sword still in hand. Gosh, she's so cool. Otobe and I followed her lead and took a seat on the floor. Yuki-chan sat down beside me and started performing maintenance on her freshly used gun.
Miyuki-chan.
Miyuki-chan.
Ryunosuke-san.
Ryunosuke-san?
今は横になってゆっくり眠った方がいいですよ。
Don't you think it would be best to lie down now and get some sleep? Don't ask me any questions, she says. Right. Miyuki-chan, seriously, who the hell are you? I stole a quick glance at her face. I was convinced that even if I asked, she wouldn't tell me the truth, but I still wanted to know.
先に寝てください。
Please get some sleep.
私は平気ですから。
Don't worry about me.
おやすみなさい、龍之介さん。
Good night, Ryunosuke-san.
おやすみ。
Good night. Though she spoke in a discouraging voice, she gently smiled as she said it. In the end, I couldn't ask her anything. Oh god, now I'm all congested. Why? Why? Why do I do this to myself? Okay, in the end, I couldn't ask her anything, so I simply lay down on the tatami and closed my eyes. It sucks to read when you can't breathe.
もう寝ちゃったんですか。
Arakawa-san, are you going to sleep?
ああ、俺はもう寝てんだよ。
Yeah, I'm trying to get some sleep.
それじゃあ電気消しましょうか。
In that case, shouldn't we turn out the lights?
どうでもいいよ、そんなこと。
I don't mind either way.
消したきゃ勝手に自分で消せ。
If you want them off, you could take care of it yourself.
いいえ、
That's cold. No.
明かりはつけておいた方がいいと思いますよ。
I think it would be best to leave the lights on. Yuki-chan remained seated as she said that to Otobe. It was less a suggestion and more an order.
万が一の時のためです。
Just in case of emergency.
目を閉じていれば同じですから。
If you close your eyes, it's pretty much the same.
はい。
Right.
乙部君ももう寝ましょう。
You too, Otobe-kun. Get some sleep.
私も寝ますから。
I'm going to bed too. Her voice was excessively gentle, like a mother addressing her child. Yuki-chan lay down right beside me.
おやすみなさい。
Good night. The smell of Miyuki-chan's hair wafted over to my nose. Just last night, I would have been thrilled to have Miyuki-chan sleeping next to me. But now? I would have really been down for this before all this shit started going down. Her hair smelled fragrant and attractive before we came to this village, but now it smelled like gunpowder and blood. Oh. Some people find gunpowder and blood attractive as a smell, I'm sure. Some people. I felt slightly disappointed as I watched Miyuki-chan close her eyes. If only she were just a freelance writer. If only she were a normal girl. That's quite the thing to say by him. Then we could have gone on a nice drive together this weekend.
おやすみなさい。
Good night. Toby finally laid down. The three of us were lying straight in a line next to each other. The sound of rustling clothing awakened me. The sky was clear and sunny outside the window. The birds who had just awoken began to sing. Toby was still sleeping right in front of me. But when I turned and looked in the other direction, nobody was there. I rose to my feet in a hurry. Sonozaki-san was walking toward the doorway.
園崎さん。
Sonozaki-san!
あんたらはまだここで寝てな。
You should all stay here and sleep.
どこ行くんですか。
Where are you going? Otobe must have heard my voice and started to wake up.
ミオンさん。
Mion-san.
あれ
Huh? Kurosawa and Tawada-san were still lying dead in front of the closet like they were sleeping. It wasn't much different from last night, but...
みゆきちゃんは。
Where's Miyuki-chan? I looked all over the assembly room, but Miyuki-chan was nowhere to be found, and I had a feeling she wasn't in the bathroom.
あの子なら夜が明ける前に出てったよ。
That girl left before the sun came up.
出てったってどこへ。
She left. Where did she go?
さあねえ。私にはさっぱり。
Where? I have no idea.
嘘だろ。
That can't be true.
あんたなんか知ってんじゃねえのかよ。
You know something, don't you?
知らないよ。
I don't know.
私は私の用事を済ますだけさ。
I've been focused on finishing my business. After saying that, Sonozaki-san tried to leave the meeting room.
ちょっと待った。
Hold on.
あんたはどこ行くんだよ。
Where do you think you're going?
ちょいとうちに用があるのさ。
To take care of a little business at home.
うちにって。
At home?
決まってるだろ。
Isn't it obvious?
園崎の本邸だよ。
I'm going to the main Sonozaki house.
あんたそんなところへ何しに行くんだ。
You... What are you planning to do at a place like that?
昨夜の黒服の連中あんたを狙ってきたんだろ。
Those men in black who came here last night. They were coming for you, weren't they?
おしゃべりはそれくらいにしておきな。
Let's set that conversation aside for now.
下手な好奇心は猫をも殺すって言うだろ。
Haven't you heard the saying? Curiosity killed the cat? Sonozaki-san said only that, then quickly stepped out of the meeting room.
ちょっと待てよ。
Hold on!
俺をこんなところに置いていこうって言うのかよ。
You can't leave me here just with that.
それに好奇心も何も。もう巻き込まれてんだからどの道一緒だろうが。
Besides, it's not about curiosity. I'm already involved in this, so aren't we all in the same boat here?
それを言うなら僕だって。
That goes for me too.
一人でこんなところにいるのなんてごめんですよ。
I can't stand being left alone at a place like this.
しょうがないね。
Then it can't be helped.
そんなに待たないよ。さっさと支度しな。
I won't wait long, so prepare quickly. I jumped up and grabbed my luggage, then chased after Sonozaki-san. When Otobe saw that, he came running over in a hurry. The rain had completely stopped. The fresh morning air surrounded my entire body. Seeing the shrine gate under the sun, it looked far less majestic than last night. It was just a small old-fashioned shrine gate. Sonozaki-san quickly descended the stone steps, then began walking down the country road.
どこへ向かってるんですか。
Which way are we headed?
さあね。
I wonder... It seemed like Sonozaki-san wasn't interested in answering.
近道していこうか。
Let's take a shortcut. After a while, Sonozaki-san stopped at the middle of a grove of trees like it was some sort of landmark, and advanced through the natural trail between them. What?
こんなところマジで行くんすか。
Are you seriously going through a place like this?
嫌だったらあんたたちは普通の道を行けばいいだろ。
If you got a problem, you guys could take the normal road.
わかったよ。
Understood.
待ってください。
Please wait. Otobe followed closely behind Sonozaki-san as she walked down the trail. Naturally, I started to follow a little afterwards.
おい、オトベ、待てって。
Hey, Otobe, wait up. Honestly, I was a bit anxious about being the back of the line. I could picture the unreliable companions in front of me leaving me behind.
冗談じゃない。
Seriously? I've come this far. I won't get left behind now. I pumped my legs to shorten the distance between us. Oh my god, if I'm gonna feel like this while I'm reading, I don't want to read like this for hours. Well, I feel like shit. God. Why? The rain or morning dew. I gotta power through. The rain or morning dew on the wet grass rubbed against the hem of my pants. A tree frog leaped from a lush green leaf. Kero kero. Oh.
ここは。
This is... Before long, we arrived back on a country road. A vivid white cloud was floating just over the horizon, and a variety of lush vegetation was spread out before us. The road continued forward with old houses along both sides.
村だ。
It's a village.
何寝ぼけたこと言ってんだい。
Are you talking in your sleep?
神社からここまでずっと同じ村。ひなみ沢村だよ。
It's the same village we could see from the shrine. This is Inamizawa. Sonozaki-san continued swiftly walking as she said that. Spider webs were stretched across a decayed wooden house. The windows were broken and glass was scattered all around.
山田の木だのを見てると気がつかなかったけど、家屋を見てるとやっぱ廃村だなって思うよな。
I didn't really notice when I was looking at the mountains and the trees, but when I look at this house, it really does look like an abandoned village. Suddenly, I remembered that I came here for work, but I was in no mood to be taking pictures. After everything that's happened here, I couldn't bring myself to think about journalism.
あれ？
Huh?
どうした？
Something wrong?
いえ。
No.
古い家ばっかりだと思っていたら、そうじゃないのもあるんですね。
I was just thinking that even though these houses are really old, there's one that doesn't look so old. Otobe stopped in his tracks right in front of a huge white mansion.
おお、すっげえでかい家だな。
Whoa, now that's a humongous house.
お金持ちの屋敷って感じですよね。
I feel like someone rich must have lived there. Sonozaki-san stopped beside us, then gently gazed at the mansion. It seemed like she had completely tuned out our existence, like she was remembering something. Her eyes looked gentle, and she had a bit of a smile on her face, with a hint of sadness mixed in with it. Aww. Chan.
おい、どうしたんだ?
Hey, what's wrong?
いきなり立ち止まったりして。
You stopped all of a sudden.
悪かったね、立ち止まったりして。
Pardon me for stopping.
行こう。
Let's go. Sonozaki-san gazed at the mansion for... Ugh. Sorry. I'm trying. I'm battling, guys. Ugh. Sonozaki-san gazed at the mansion for a while with a nostalgic look in her eyes, but before long she wiped the corner of her eye and started walking again. Sonozaki-san said she was a resident of this village. If that's the truth, then maybe she has had some precious memories of the person who lived in that house.
ま、いいか。
Well, whatever. Honestly, I was interested to learn more, but this wasn't the time. Sonozaki-san was walking at such a brisk pace I had a hard enough time keeping up with her, let alone time to think idle thoughts. Oh? Eventually, we arrived at a huge estate surrounded by a large fence. The size and construction were completely different from the other houses. It had a style befitting the three great families, and the front gate had several retro-style security cameras that looked like toys. Of course, they've been neglected and left exposed to the rain for over 20 years, so there was no way they could still work. The entire house had a different sort of atmosphere to it. The high fences, security cameras, and ornate double doors illustrate how strongly protected the Sonozaki family was. I focused my attention on my surroundings, and then I froze. Hiding behind the shadows of the door were the men in black from last night waiting for us. In full sunlight, I could clearly make out the faces of the men. No matter how I looked at them, they were all obviously Yakuza. What?
そんな、ここまで来て。
What? They're here too?
何言ってんだい。想定の範囲内だろうが。
What are you saying? This is all to be expected.
やるしかないんだよ。
Now, we have no choice but to handle it. Oh shit! Sonozaki-san grabbed her katana, and as if on cue, the men in black each stood up and grabbed their weapons.
ちょっと待てよ。
Hold on!
やるって、俺たち丸腰じゃねえかよ。
Handle it? We're unarmed.
っていうか俺、暴力団の抗争には興味ありませんから。
Besides, I don't want to get involved in some gangster conflict.
分かってるさ。
I understand that.
この屋敷の中に村の外まで続いてる隠し通路がある。
But there's a hidden passage in this estate that leads out of the village.
あんたたちはそこを通って逃げるんだ。
You guys will be able to escape through there. A gunshot rang out before Sonozaki-san could finish speaking. But she already started running, in the direction it came from, straight ahead. It felt like Sonozaki-san was trying to break through the front gate.
マジかよ。
Huh? Are you serious?
くそ。
Damn it!
荒川さん。
Arakawa-san! Otobe and I followed Sonozaki-san's lead and started running.
逃がすな。あいつは化け物だ。
Don't let them escape! She's a monster!
化け物。
A monster. Bang. In the brief moment I was distracted by the voice of the man in black, a bullet flew by and hit the gate of the Sonozaki residence right behind my back. Ah! Eek. It seemed like they were trying to repel our advance. Two more dry gunshots roared out.
やつら、俺たちまで殺す気かよ。
These guys are trying to kill us too?
当然だろ。
Of course.
仲間だと思われててもおかしくないからね。
It's not so odd for them to think you're my allies.
でも、どうして？
But why?
荒川。
Arakawa! Sonozaki-san lifted her hand in front of my body and struck down on my head. I tumbled forward and fell to the ground. Immediately after that, a bullet pierced through Sonozaki-san's sleeve.
シノゴの言ってる暇はない。
There's no time for your grumbling.
生き延びたけ早く行きな。
If you want to survive, hurry up and go! And then, Sonozaki-san pushed on my back to thrust me forward. The force of that thrust pushed my entire body toward the gate. I rolled on the ground a bit as I passed through the gate.
早く門の中へ。
Hurry, get inside.
隠し通路は井戸の向こうだよ。
The hidden passage is beyond the well.
荒川さんこっち。
Arakawa-san, this way.
くそ
Damn it! Otobe had entered through the side gate, and I ran in the direction he beckoned. I ran and ran like crazy. Meanwhile, Sonozaki-san was fighting the men behind us with her katana, doing her best to protect us. She struck one in the top of the head with the back of her sword, and sliced upward through the pit of his stomach. The men in black started collapsing one after another.
園崎さんも早く
You too, Sonozaki-san, hurry!
後で行く。
I'll catch up later.
庭を突っ切ると森がある。
Once you cross the garden, you'll find a forest.
そこへ向かってとにかく走るんだ。
Head there and keep running. I couldn't even spare a moment to look back at Sonozaki-san. The enemies were constantly attacking, and she was fighting them off alone.
園崎さん
Sonozaki-san!
荒川さん
Arakawa-san!
とにかく行きましょう。
We need to get moving!
あわかった
Got it. Otobe and I took off running at full speed. Eventually, we reached a desolate forest beyond the garden, just as Sonozaki-san said.
こんな森も園崎家の敷地とは
This forest is part of the Sonozaki estate?
恐れ入るぜ
I can't believe it.
こんな森の中を行くんでしょうか。
Should we go into the forest?
行くんじゃねえの
Do you not want to go? Though I was still confused, I kept running. I couldn't see the men in black. I wonder if Sonozaki-san is still fighting at the front gate of the estate. As I followed the trail through the forest, I came across a tunnel that looked like a coal mine or a shelter in the side of a steep slope. Surrounded by gentle slopes, this spot was impossible to see from the outside.
これってもしかして隠し通路
Could this be it? The secret passage?
ここが
Right here. A sturdy door was installed here, likely to intimidate any who would come near. What's this? Something felt odd. When I studied the door in front of me, something felt out of place. As I quietly gazed at it, my breathing became rough and erratic. The door was slightly open.
どうしたんですか。
What's wrong?
扉が
The door
開いてる
is open.
廃村だから開けっぱなしにしてあるんじゃないですか。
The village was abandoned. Wouldn't it make sense for it to be open?
おい
Hey! Otobe nonchalantly approached the door. I started to move toward the passageway too, but then stopped in my tracks. A rotten, bloody stench struck my nose.
本当にここかよ
Are we sure this is it?
隠し通路って
The secret passage she told us about?
でもここを行かないんならあそこで黒服の人たちに殺されるしかないですよ。
But if we don't go in, then we'll just get killed by the men in black out there, right?
そりゃそうだけど
That's true, but
そうだよな
yeah, you're right. It couldn't be helped. I took a moment to prepare myself, then vigorously pulled the handle. Both the double doors came open, and a fishy odor burst out along with a swarm of small insects. It was pitch black inside, so I couldn't see very well.
本当にここなんでしょうか。
Is this really it?
ここしかないって言ったのはお前の方だぜ
Weren't you the one who said that this was the only way?
そうですけどやっぱり
That's true, but after all,
ここってやばいんじゃないでしょうか。
doesn't it look really dangerous?
とにかくもう少し行ってみようぜ
For now, let's head a little farther inside. We entered the wood-lined tunnel together. This may have been used as shelter or storage facility during wartime.
ミオンさん後で行くって言ってましたけど
Mion-san said she would catch up with us later, but
本当に来るんでしょうか。
do you really think she's coming?
なもん知るかよ
How would I know that?
きっと来るって
I'm sure she'll come.
心配すんな
Don't worry.
はい
Okay. I was partially saying that to myself as well. I completely understood Otobe's unease because I felt the same way. I stumbled forward through the dark passage with a hand on the wall.
ミオンさん一人で大丈夫でしょうか。
Mion-san, will she be alright on her own?
わかんねえけど俺たちがあそこにあのままいても足手まといになるだけだろ
I don't know, but even if we stayed behind with her, wouldn't we just get in her way?
それはそうですけど
That's true, but
やっぱり良くなかったんじゃないでしょうか。
It doesn't really feel like the right thing to do.
あそこで僕たちだけ逃げてきたりして。
We ran away and left her back there. I clicked my tongue. Otobe's insecurity was quickly pushing the limits of my patience.
ごちゃごちゃ言うなら戻ればいいだろう。
If you've got any more complaints, you're welcome to go back. When I raised my voice, it became hard to breathe. The oxygen levels might be lower in the secret passageway. Uh-oh. No, that's not it. It's not the air is thinner. It's not that the air is thinner. My whole body felt heavy. Uh-oh.
荒川さん、
Arakawa-san,
今音がしませんでしたか？
did you hear a sound just now?
音？
A sound?
こんなとこ誰もいるはずねえだろうが。
There shouldn't be anybody else here.
でも確かに。
But I'm sure I heard it. Otobe quickly fell to his knees as he said that.
音部？
Otobe,
すみません。
sorry.
僕なんだか苦しくって
It's painful
立ってられないんです。
to stand. I can't do it.
おい、音部。
Hey, Otobe. What is going on? I couldn't see anything in the dark. What should I do? What can I do about this? That's right. If I use my camera's flash, I should be able to see my surroundings for at least a moment. I reached into my pocket to pull out my camera, but my hand began to tremble and I couldn't get the grip on it. What is the meaning of this? My hands were trembling beyond my ability to control.
さ
Son,
もうダメです。
it's too late for me.
おらら
Otobe? I wanted to say his name, but I couldn't speak clearly. Somehow I managed to push the shutter with my trembling hands. Click. For a brief moment, the surrounding area was bathed in light. And in that moment, I saw insects. I'm sorry I sound so gross, guys. I saw insects clinging to the walls and a trail of white smoke running along the floor of the passageway. Is this smoke poison gas? By the time I noticed it, it was already too late. One of the men in black must have ran ahead here and filled this area with poison gas. That's right. I wish I had been more cautious when I found the door open. I don't have any time left for regrets. The way I live may already be decided, but the way I die is not. That much is certainly true. I absolutely don't want to die quietly in a filthy, dark, smelly place where nobody will find me. I don't want to die. I'm sure nobody will ever even know that I died here. My family won't know where to look for me. Even if Otobe's family gets worried and they issue a search request, they'll never find us in here. I don't want to die. Not like this. I never wanted this. But my regrets are in vain, because my thoughts will cease soon enough. Damn it. Damn it! Oh no. Bad ending. Oh. Down he goes. Oh, it just ends, yeah. Okay. Alright, so now I think we're back on the good ending path here. We're back, we go to that choice where we chose the initial, if I remember everything correctly, we are back here. In the end, I decided to. So if I remember correctly, this was where Tawada was like, hey, we should search, like, help me search for my boyfriend or whatever. And the bad path here, you can see, is that we're like, no, let's go to the assembly hall. And then that started us down a path where then we chose more paths to see more bad things. But here, we're going to choose search for Kurosawa.
わかった。黒沢匠だっけ？
Got it. Takumi Kurosawa, was it?
この辺りにいるかどうか見てきてやるよ。
I'll go see if he's around here.
龍之介さん、いいんですか？
Ryunosuke-san, is that really alright?
ありがとうございます。
Thank you so much.
助かります。
That would be a big help. Toda-san bowed her head, then started leading the way down the stone steps. but I shouted wait to get her to stop.
なんでしょう。
Ooh, what is it?
いや、十和田さんはみゆきちゃんと一緒に集会所にいてくれないか。
Tauda-san, why don't you head back to the assembly hall with Miyuki-chan?
どうして？
Huh? Why do you suggest that?
女の子と一緒じゃ何かと動きにくいからさ。
Being with girls might make it harder to move around.
それに行方不明者が出た直後だ。用心に越したことはない。
Plus, we need to be cautious now that we have a missing person on our hands.
でも
But, Tauda-san appeared discontent. I understood how she felt. If someone important to me went missing, I'd want to go look for them too. But it's the middle of a dark night. Anyone going out in these conditions is likely to get lost, so it'd be best to avoid causing another incident.
荒川さん、僕は
Arakawa-san, what about me?
あ
Huh?
お前は当然俺と一緒に来るんだよ。
Naturally, you're coming with me.
僕が
Huh? Me?
何ビビってんだよ。
What are you so afraid of?
男の子だろ。
You're a man, aren't you?
でも
But... Otobe hesitated, as if to say he wouldn't dare plunge into the danger head first. But, despite that, the fact that he couldn't come right out and say, I don't want to, really got my nerves. But then...
じゃあ龍之介さん、
Alright, Ryunosuke-san,
私も一緒に探しに行きます。
I'll go search with you. While Otobe was still struggling to answer me, Miyuki-chan pushed him aside and stepped forward. Is she seriously that bold? She's a courageous woman. Although...
いや、みゆきちゃんは十和田さんのそばにいてあげてほしいんだ。
No, Miyuki-chan, I need you to stay with Tauda-san.
十和田さん、みゆきちゃんと一緒なら少しは安心だろ。
Tauda-san, don't you think you'd feel more at ease if Miyuki-chan stayed with you?
それはそうですが。
That's true, but... Once Tauda-san realized it would mean being left here alone, she gazed longingly at Miyuki-chan. When Miyuki-chan saw the pale look on her face, she acquiesced and said, You're right.
わかりました。
Understood.
行きましょう、十和田さん。
Now let's get going, Tauda-san.
大丈夫よ。二人で一緒にいれば心配ないから。
It's alright. As long as we stay together, there's nothing to worry about.
そうですね。
You're right. Miyuki-chan put a hand on Tauda-san's shoulder as I walked to the assembly hall together. Tauda-san was concerned about her boyfriend's safety. I totally understand that, but this task was far too dangerous to get women involved. Weak women. If it's not too late, I'll ask the ladies for help after the sun comes out.
行くぞ、乙部。
Let's go, Otobe.
はい。
Okay. Otobe reluctantly began descending the stone steps with me. The rain was still pouring down. The minivan that was supposed to be parked at the base of the stone steps really was gone. I stood in the spot where the minivan should have been and thought back. Miyuki-chan and I came here right after discovering the car full of suicide victims. When I peered inside the car, I noticed something swinging by the driver's seat. What was it? Oh! That's right. It was a keychain. A keychain dangling from the keyhole. But, wait. That means the keys were left inside the car. It might seem careless, but this is an uninhabited ghost town, so maybe Tauda-san thought it would be safe to leave the keys inside. But if she left the keys inside, someone would have been able to steal the car.
盗まれた。
Was it stolen? Suddenly I became lost in thought. Come to think of it, Miyuki-chan and I left the keys to her car inside too. Someone could have stolen it too. So, in other words, this has nothing to do with occult phenomenon like curses or being demoned away. There's still a possibility that there are more people in this village than just us. Then who the hell could it be? And for what? Or was this a trap meant to lure us all somewhere? Or maybe this really is the work of demons. Could it be the work of the dead meddling in the lives of the living? Cutting off our means of escape and then strangling us to death? My thoughts were going around in circles. Just who was it that was alive in this village right now? I hit the limit of my reasoning. At this point, my thoughts had become incoherent. Right. My thoughts went astray when I questioned if it was the work of the living or the dead. There's no way it could be anything besides another living person. Can't be. Just then, I heard the sound of a person approaching from behind. Scream. I heard a footstep. At the same time, I suddenly felt someone place a hand on my back. Ah! I arched my back backwards while turning around. Otobe was standing there with his mouth hanging open.
荒川さん
Arakawa-san?
なんだ乙部かよ。
What? Otobe.
びっくりさせんなよな。
Don't surprise me like that.
すみません。びっくりさせるつもりはなかったんですけど、
Sorry, I didn't mean to surprise you.
荒川さん立ち止まって難しい顔してたからどうしたのかと思って。
But, Arakawa-san, you came to a sudden stop and you looked upset, so I wanted to ask if something was wrong.
いや、なんでもねえよ。
Oh, no, it's nothing.
ちょっと考え事をな。
Just a little lost in thought.
早く行こうぜ。
Let's hurry up and get going.
でも行くってどっちへ？
But, which way should we go? An unpaved gravel road extended both the left and the right.
右か左か。
Left or right?
どっちでもいいですよ。
I'm fine with either one. Otobe started walking to the left.
いや、こっちだ。
No, let's go this way. I reflexively grabbed Otobe's arm and started walking to the right. Why did I want to go this direction? Even I wasn't sure myself. But Miyuki-chan and I originally came from the direction to the right, so maybe I just felt some desire to go back the way I came from.
こっちですか。
You want to go this way? Otobe timidly followed behind me. No matter how far we went, I couldn't see anything but trees. It was just one long road extending straight through a dense forest.
荒川さん、
Arakawa-san.
さっきミオンさんが探したんですよね。
Mion-san went out searching a while ago, didn't she?
地元のミオンさんが見つからないっていうのに、僕たちで見つけることなんて本当にできるんでしょうか。
If a local like Mion-san couldn't find anything, do you really think it's possible for us to find anything out here?
わかんねえけど、行くしかないだろ。
I don't know, but do we really have any other choice?
黒沢は忽然と姿を消しちまってるんだから。
Kurosawa suddenly disappeared on us.
だけどそれは。
That's true, but...
それは
What?
なんだよ。
However, Tobe swallowed his words and awkwardly looked down. I had a good idea what he was trying to say. If Kurosawa was demoned away, there was nothing we could do about it. Anyone caught by the demons would simply be devoured and thrown away, never to be found again. Otobe's eyes seemed to say as much, and somewhere in my heart I was thinking the same thing.
なんでもないです。
It's nothing.
じゃあ言うねんな。
Then don't say anything. Damn. After that, the two of us said nothing more. We simply walked down the muddy road. A dirt trail extended between the trees, seeming to invite us in.
もしかしてこっちとか。
Should we head this way?
バカ。
Don't be stupid.
こんな真っ暗な中、そんな獣道なんか入ってったら二度と出てこれねえぞ。
If we head down a pitch black trail like that, we'll never make it out, okay?
ですよね。
Yeah. My flashlight could only illuminate the ground 2 or 3 meters away from my feet. No matter how far we go, we're as likely to find a car or a person as we are to find a tanuki.
もうダメなんじゃないですかね。
I guess it's useless.
ダメって。
Useless?
だからこれ以上言っても何もわかんないっていうか。
Because even if we go further, we won't find anything.
だいたいあの木の中に引きずり込まれてたとしたら絶対にわかんないですよ。
If someone dragged him into those trees, we'll never find him.
誰に引きずり込まれてんだよ。
And who dragged him then?
それは。
Well... Otobe was quietly whispered the word demons, but I pretended not to hear him. In fact, it could have just been my ears playing tricks on me. Maybe he said something else. Should we head back to the assembly hall and wait for morning? No, then it'll be too late. The man-eating demons might kill all of us in the middle of the night. I felt sick. Unpleasant thoughts spun round and round inside my head. It had become difficult to distinguish delusions from reality. There really might be demons out there. Or maybe not.
荒川さん、もう無理ですよ。
Arakawa-san, it's impossible to keep going.
引き返しましょうってば。
Let's head back.
だからって このまま帰るわけにはいかねえだろうが。
We can't turn back like this.
なんでですか。
Why not?
帰ればいいじゃないですか。
What's wrong with heading back?
僕もう嫌ですよ。
I've had enough of this. Otobe finally stopped.
乙部、
Otobe. I quietly clicked my tongue to myself. What a pathetic human being. If you value your life, then show some guts, damn it.
それじゃあ戻るか。
Alright, you wanna go back?
でも戻ってもしょうがないんですよね。
But do we have no choice but to go back? Otobe was acting confused and indecisive. And so, I started getting irritated and glared at Otobe. As soon as I did, he started to look upset.
でもこのまま行ってもしょうがないと思うんですよね。
But even if we keep going on, I don't think we can do anything about it.
それくらい俺だって。
I'm starting to feel the same way.
じゃあどうするよ。
Well, what should we do?
だからそれはその
So, I think, though I had an umbrella in hand, my pants were still soaked with mud and rain. Plus, my hands and feet were freezing. The two of us suddenly spoke up at the same time.
戻りましょう。
Let's turn back.
行こうぜ。
Let's keep going. I had to sigh at our completely contradictory decisions. It's tough working with someone of a completely different disposition. Clearly, we made a terrible team. Still, I didn't have the stomach to handle the situation on my own. Otobe probably felt the same way. So, my decisions had just as much weight on my partner as they did on me.
これ以上言っても無駄ですよ。
Even if we go any further, it's just a waste.
だからって集会所で黙って殺されるのを待つってことはねえだろ。
But that doesn't mean we can just go back to the assembly hall and quietly wait to die, right?
電話が繋がらないのなら歩いて警察に行こうぜ。
Even if our phones can't connect, we can still walk to the police.
沖宮まではすぐだろ。
Okinomiya is not too far from here.
すぐって言ったって
Not too far?
歩いてですか。
But we're traveling by foot, aren't we? Indeed, I also thought it sounded reckless. But what choice did we have?
そうだ。
Oh, that's right. That moment, I felt inspiration like a divine revelation.
車で行けばいいじゃねえか。
We can drive there.
車
In what car? Otobe began to furrow his eyebrows, but I continued. Oh shit, they're both okay choices. The suicide party's car.
自殺した奴らの車だよ。
The suicide party's car. Uh-huh? Otobe's shoulders trembled in revulsion as soon as I suggested it.
嫌ですよ僕。
No, I don't want to.
死体と一緒に車に乗るなんて。
I'm not riding in a car full of corpses.
この際仕方ないだろ。
What other choice do we have?
それに車ごと運転して運んでいけば警察だってすぐに死体の身元とか調べられて一石二鳥じゃないか。
Plus, if we drive there with the corpses, the police will be able to start examining them immediately, killing two birds with one stone. Also, they definitely won't think it's suspicious and think we might have something to do with it.
むちゃくちゃですよ。
That's absurd.
そんなの僕嫌です。
I won't go along with this. It certainly was an absurd idea, I agree with that. But people have actually gone missing and we've been experiencing curse-like phenomena. It seemed like a much better option than sitting idly and doing nothing.
とりあえず車が動くか見に行こうぜ。
Anyway, let's go see if we can get the car moving.
話はそれからだ。
Then we'll figure it out from there.
だから僕は嫌だって。
I told you, I don't want to.
嫌とか言ってる場合じゃねえだろ。
This isn't the time to be selfish.
車のあった場所は確か。
The place where we found that car must have been...
荒川さん、いい加減にしてください。
Arakawa-san, that's enough! For a moment, I was overwhelmed. I never would have expected Otobe to object in such a forceful tone.
冗談じゃないです。
This is serious.
そんなことするくらいならここで警察の来るのを待ってた方がマシです。
We're far better off waiting here for the police to arrive.
僕は絶対に反対ですからね。
I refuse to accept that plan. Otobe stood in front of me with both his arms spread wide. The ferocity of his opposition was rather odd. In fact, it was downright suspicious.
なんでだよ。
Why?
だって自殺現場でしょ。
Because that's the place where they committed suicide, right?
だったら警察の検証を終えるまではその場を動かしたらダメだと思うんです。
I think it's a bad idea to move it before the police have had a chance to investigate.
警察官に怪しまれて変に疑われたりしたら嫌じゃないですか。
I don't want us doing weird things that'll give the police reason to suspect us. What? Is that it? I felt relieved to hear that that was his reason for refusing, then pushed Toei's hand aside and started walking.
平気だよ、んなもん。
It'll be fine.
非常時だったからって説明すれば怒られるくらいで済むさ。
They won't get upset with us as long as we explain to them that it was an emergency.
ダメですよ。
That's unacceptable.
僕は反対です。
I refuse.
警察に怒られるのならともかく変な容疑をかけられたらどうするんですか。
Regardless if they would get upset with us or not, what if they get the wrong idea and find us suspicious?
確か死体を動かしたりするのって何かの罪になるって聞きましたよ。
Plus, isn't moving corpses some kind of crime?
悪いな。俺刑法苦手なんだわ。
Sorry, I'm no expert on criminal law.
どっちみち非常時の選択なら最悪でも執行猶予だって。
But it's an emergency. Even in the worst case scenario, they'll grant us extenuating circumstances.
執行猶予でも罪は罪です。
Extenuating circumstances? A crime is a crime.
余計なことして前科持ちなんて冗談じゃないですよ。
This isn't a joke. I don't want unnecessary things on my criminal record.
だからさっきから最悪の場合って言ってるだろ。
What we were just discussing was a worst case scenario, right?
そうならない可能性もあるじゃないか。
That's not necessarily what's going to happen.
それはそうですけど。
That's true, but
だったらいいじゃないか。
then it should be okay, right?
分かったら行くぞ。
If you understand that, let's go.
だから待って。
Wait! I shook off his grip on my hand to start walking, but Tobe moved in front to block me again.
でも車内は一酸化炭素でいっぱいなんでしょ。
But isn't the car full of carbon monoxide?
そんなのに乗ったら僕たちも中毒になっちゃいますよ。
If we ride in there, it'll poison us too.
平気だって。
It'll be fine.
換気するのを待つくらいどうってことねえだろ。
All we need to do is wait for it to ventilate.
運転してる間窓を全開にしてりゃいいんだし。
Plus, we can drive with the windows open.
窓は全部しっかり目張りしてあるんだからそう簡単には開かないんじゃないですか。
But the windows were all sealed shut. Do you really think you can open them so easily?
何？
What? My ears immediately twitched at something he said. What was that just now? Uh-oh.
なあ、オトベ。
Hey, Otobe.
何ですか。
What?
さっきから聞いてりゃまるで見てきたような口ぶりだな。
Based on what you just said now, sounds like you've seen the car yourself. Huh?
練炭自殺ってことは確かに俺もお前に話した。
Indeed, I did tell you earlier that they commit suicide using a charcoal grill.
だけど車の中の様子まで話した記憶はない。
But I don't remember talking about the inside of the car.
まして窓を目張りしてるなんてことはな。
And more importantly, I never mentioned that the windows were sealed. Otobe gasped and turned to look away. He knows. This guy knows something.
そんなことないですよ。
That's not true.
そういう事例の時ってどれも似たようなもんじゃないですか。
I've heard about other similar cases before, and they're all like that.
そうでしょ。
Right?
まあその通りだよ
Well, you're right about that.
な。ならいい。お前はここで待ってろよ。
Fine then. You can wait here.
俺一人で行くからさ。
I'll go alone.
荒川さん。
Arakawa-san! As soon as I started to walk off, Tobe frantically grabbed my hand. I see. I was planning to bluff him by hiding the fact that we broke the windows, but seems I was right on the money. I was slowly starting to understand why he was so vehemently opposed.
なあ、オトベ。
Hey, Otobe.
お前本当は何か隠してんじゃねえのか。
You're hiding something, aren't you?
隠すようなことなんて何もありませんよ。
I have nothing to hide.
ただ
But,
ただ
but,
ただ
but,
大体ですね。
The important thing is
自殺者の車を借りるなんて死者への冒涜ですよ。
borrowing the car they committed suicide in is blasphemy against the dead.
は？死者への冒涜？
Huh? Blasphemy against the dead? I was completely dumbfounded by that entirely unexpected answer. Blasphemy? What is this guy talking about?
そうです。死者といえど人間です。
Right. They may be dead, but they're still human beings.
丁重に扱わなければなりません。
We need to treat them with respect.
それなのに死んだらただの荷物みたいに扱ってそのまま警察に運んでしまおうなんて。
And yet, you want to cart them around and transport them to the police like luggage?
そんなの死んだ人たちに失礼ですよ。
That's disrespecting the dead.
まあそういう見方もあるな。だったら
Well, that's a valid point of view. In that case,
そんなに言うなら荒川さん一人で行ってください。
Arakawa-san, if you understand that, then you can go on your own. Then, yeah.
とにかく僕は行きませんからね。
But either way, I won't be going. Otobe released my hand and started heading back the way we came. He wasn't being prideful or stubborn. He was acting completely childish.
おい、オトベ。
Hey, Otobe,
ここはひなみ沢村なんですよ。
this is Hinamizawa, you know.
死んだ人の霊がうようよしてるんでしょ。
It's swarming with the spirits of the dead.
僕までたたり殺されるなんて絶対に嫌ですからね。
I don't want the curse to kill me too.
ああ、わかったよ。
Fine, whatever.
それじゃ俺は一人で行くからな。
Then I'm going on my own. I started walking as I said that, but before I made it 10 meters, I stopped. Otobe was acting particularly stubborn. His reactions felt like a person being persecuted. This guy didn't just see the suicide car. I'm confident he knows something about the victims too. But what? I had no idea what Otobe was hiding. I turned and pointed my flashlight back the way I came from and watched Otobe's back as he began walking toward the shrine. Once again, I illuminated the other side of the road with my flashlight. The pitch-black road went on, straight ahead. The suicide party's car should have been here earlier. Otobe's voice echoed inside my head.
ここはひなみ沢村なんですよ。
This is Hinamizawa, you know.
死んだ人の霊がうようよしてるんでしょ。
It's swarming with the spirits of the dead.
僕までたたり殺されるなんて絶対に嫌ですからね。
I don't want the curse to kill me too. The spirits of the dead? Well, maybe he's just afraid of traveling alone. And with Otobe stubbornly refusing, it meant I'd have to travel alone too. And more importantly,
わかったよ。
I understand. I turned back and followed after Otobe. Then I walked up side by side with him and apologized.
お前の言う通りだ。
I agree with what you said.
あの車を使うのはやめにしよ
We shouldn't use that car.
別に無理しなくていいですよ。
It's okay. You don't have to force yourself.
う。無理なんかしてないよ。
I'm not.
まあ今思ったんだけどさ。
I did
園
have
崎さんも車で来てるんだろ？
I did have another thought. Sonozaki-san drove here too, right?
だったらあの人の車を使えばいいんじゃねえの？
In that case, why don't we use her car?
あ、
Oh,
そうですよ。
Right.
そうだ。
right, that's right.
ミオンさんの車を使えばいいんですよ。
We can use Mion-san's car. Otobe donned a cheerful expression and quickened his pace. Between this and the suggestion to use the suicide party's car, difference in his reaction felt like night and day. I sped up to keep pace with Otobe and carefully examined his complexion.
それにしても園崎さんってどこから来たんだろうな。
Anyway, I wonder where Sonozaki-san came from.
一人で来た感じだけど。
Seems like she traveled here alone.
さあ、着物とか着てるんだから沖宮とかその辺じゃないですか。
No idea. She's dressed in that kimono and everything, so I assume she came from somewhere nearby like Okinomiya.
まあそう考えるのが妥当だよな。
Well, sounds about right. We walked at a quick pace. Heading back the way we came was far faster than traveling into the unknown.
それにしてもうっかりですね。
Still, that was careless of me.
最初からそれを思いつけばよかったんですよ。
I should have thought of that right from the start.
ミオンさんの車なら安心だ。
Mion-san's car should be safe to use.
そういえばミオンさん、どんな車に乗ってるんでしょうね。
So, what kind of car was Mion-san riding?
さあな。
I wonder. Otobe's footsteps got lighter. She drove here alone? Huh? Wait a minute. If that's the case, then where did she park her car? Sonozaki-san definitely told us that she had business to attend to at the Furude Shrine. If so, it would make sense to park on the street somewhere close to the stone steps. And yet, we didn't see a car anywhere around there.
この道は神社の参道に続いていますから、このまままっすぐ一本道ですよ。
This road leads to the shrine, so we're on a direct path there. Right, Yuki-chan said as much. It's a single straight road, so isn't it odd that we never saw Sonozaki-san's car? Something unpleasant stirred inside my chest.
どうしたんですか？
What's wrong?
あんまり乗り気じゃないみたいですけど。
Seems like you suddenly lost your enthusiasm.
なあ、園崎さんってさ、
Hey, about Sonozaki-san.
本当に車で来てんのかな？
Did she actually drive here?
ん？
Huh?
車乗ってきたのかなってさ。
I'm wondering if she came in a car at all.
何を言い出すんですか？
What are you saying?
車じゃなかったらどうやって？
If she didn't take a car here, then how? Then, after I said it, Otobe caught his breath while he realized where I was going.
まさか。
No way. If Sonozaki-san was a roaming spirit who wandered this village, then she wouldn't have needed to take a car here. She was waiting here in this village to devour us.
そんなはずないですよ。
That can't be.
そんなバカなこと。
That's absurd. Otobe stood there, dryly laughing to himself, but there was no laughter in his eyes. He probably has the same suspicion as I did. However, it's far too implausible to actually speak it out loud.
まあ、そうだよな。
Well, that's true.
霊が俺たちと酒なんて組み交わすとも思えないし、考えすぎかな。
But it's hard to imagine a spirit sharing a drink with us, so maybe we're overthinking it. As I said that, I recalled what Sonozaki-san said back at the ritual storehouse.
そうさ。
That's right.
私は本当はあんたたちに見えている私じゃない。
I'm not actually me at all.
私はね。
The truth is,
実は取り付いている存在なのさ。
I'm being possessed. At the time, Sonozaki-san had a strange otherworldly aura. But no way. Could Sonozaki-san really be a spirit? My thoughts started going in circles. There was something there, but I couldn't understand that. Or I couldn't understand what. Enough. The more I think about it, the worse I feel. So, decided to bring up another topic to change the mood.
なあ、乙部。
Hey, Otobe.
そういえばお前はどっから来たの？
Now that you brought it up, where did you come here from?
僕ですか？
Huh? Me?
東京ですけど。
I'm from Tokyo, but
荒川さんも東京ですよね。
Arakawa-san, aren't you from Tokyo too?
あ
That's right.
やっぱり
I thought so.
荒川さんっていかにも東京の人って感じですからね。
Arakawa-san, you totally seem like you're from Tokyo.
生まれも育ちも東京ですか？
Were you born and raised in Tokyo? As soon as the topic changed, Otobe returned to a relaxed, casual tone. People become talkative when they want to hide the things they're ashamed of, especially in stressful situations.
まあな。
Yeah,
つっても下町の方だから、こじゃれた雰囲気とは無縁だけど。
but I live downtown, so it's separate from the city's chic atmosphere.
へえ。僕実家は和歌山なんですよ。
Wow, I'm originally from Wakayama.
こっちの大学に受かってから訛りは必死で直しましたけどね。
Though I've been trying my best to get rid of my accent ever since I got accepted into my university at Tokyo.
へえ。
Wow,
乙部って大学生だったんだ。
so you're a college student, Otobe? Otobe fumbled over his words for just a moment, but I didn't miss it.
ああ、はい、そうなんです。
Oh, yeah, that's right.
荒川さんは売れっ子ライターなんですよね。
And you're a popular writer, right, Arakawa-san?
すごいですね。
That's amazing. Otobe quickly changed the subject. He didn't seem at all interested in discussing his college. Well, guess I'll let it go for now.
別にすごくもなんともねえよ。
Well, it's not that impressive.
売れっ子って言ったのもその場のノリだ。
Not sure where anyone said I was popular. Not sure where anyone said I was popular.
ま、
Okay.
物書きで食えているんだから
Phrase
それな
weird.
りのもんだと思ってるけどさ。
But I do make living off. No, but I do make living off of it, so I think it's legitimate work.
週刊セブンの記事読みましたよ。
I've read your articles in the Weekly 7.
面白かったです。
They were really interesting.
なんていうか読んでいてゾクゾクしたっていうか
I mean, the
面
stuff.
白かったです。
I mean, the stuff I read was really creepy, but it was still interesting.
そいつはどう？
Ah, thanks.
昔からオカルト記事ばっかり書いてたんですか？
Have you been writing occult stories for a long time?
就職してた頃は結構いろんなの書いてたけど、ここ何年かはずっとオカルトかな。
I wrote on a variety of topics when I first started, but I focused on occult subjects for the past few years.
就職っていうと出版社か何かですか？
When you first started, were you working for a publishing company or something?
まあな。
You could say that.
いいですよね、出版社。
Wow, a publishing company. That's nice.
楽しいですか？
Did you enjoy it?
まあ、それなりに。
Well, in its own way.
お前は卒業したらどういう方面に行くつもりなの？
So, what are you planning to do after you graduate?
卒業したらですか？
Huh? After graduation?
いや、何にも考えてなかったけど、
Well, I haven't really thought about it, but
出版社とかっていいですよね。憧れちゃうな。
a publishing company does sound pretty good, huh? This should have been a carefree topic, but when my flashlight periodically illuminated the side of Otobe's face, I could see a steady stream of sweat dribbling down. And I don't think he's sweating because of the heat or humidity. This was the greasy sweat of a person struggling to keep something hidden. And his non-stop chatter made it abundantly clear he had a secret to hide.
オトベは
Otobe?
もうすぐ神社ですね。
Oh, we're almost at the shrine. Otobe cut me off, then fled up the stone steps. He's definitely hiding something. I'm certain it's related to the suicide party. Those doubts nagged at me as I climbed the stone steps, watching Otobe's back. Trying to think how I want to do this. I'm still not feeling great as far as reading wise. As you can probably hear, and as I can feel, it's not the most fun thing to do, read a bunch while you're congested as hell. I think we already read these, right? These popped up when we were taking the alternate paths. Yeah. We can blast through them here just in case we have to do this. Just to make sure the game knows we read them.
そうマチちゃん
Easy. I think I got a plan. I think I know what we'll do. Let me finish this. Okay. So I apologize that I sound and am ending this part so quickly, or, soon. Tomorrow, my plan was to just play Clair Obscure. But what I'll do... Well, I still want to stream today, but I can switch to something like Blueprints, where I barely have to talk. And we can just play Blueprints for a couple hours or so. Maybe a few hours. Probably like a few hours. Assuming I don't feel like progressively like shit. So, we'll save this, and then tomorrow the plan was just to play Clair Obscure. But what I can do before playing Clair Obscure tomorrow, we can boot up Higurashi again, and then we can read for an hour or two of Higurashi. And so then if you put today's Higurashi and tomorrow's Higurashi together, then it's like a bigger Higurashi weekend chunk. Does that sound like a good plan? It's going to have to sound like a good plan because that's what I'm deciding. So I'm going to throw up a BRB screen. I'm going to go get some water and all. And then I'll boot up Blueprints and we'll play that for, like I said, 2 or 3 hours. And then we'll call it a Saturday. So I will be back shortly.